Hello, this is Alyssa with Patriot Marketing. I had reached out to you yesterday and promised this free custom video. Anyways, here it is. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I just wanted to show you a few tips that you could really use to just maximize your traffic online and just increase your business that you would be getting from that. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. First of all, I noticed that when I searched you guys, there wasn't a website. So that would be my first tip for you, I guess, would be to have a website. We're gonna jump over to this tab here. We're using them as your competitor to kind of show where they're at and what you would need to do in order to beat them out. But it's epoxy.la. I don't know if you guys do epoxy or not. However, these guys, what makes them a competitor, is that they actually do, as soon as it loads, they actually do garage flooring as well. So not just epoxy, but they also do garage floors. And so that is what makes them a competitor. But I just kind of wanted to show and prove it to you as soon as my computer loads. There we go. Come on, all the way. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, here we go. It's about to pause the recording so that it had time to load. But yeah, they do epoxy garage flooring. They do some garage flooring. You guys probably do a lot of concrete garage flooring. However, regardless, this is garage flooring. And so that does make them a competitor for you guys, even if you guys don't work with epoxy. However, so that would be my first tip for you then, would be to have a website. Because people are not able to find you when they search for you. And the reason why that is because without a website, I don't know what I just clicked on. Hold on. Come on. Nope. Okay, just back. Okay. Without a website, you don't have the content and keywords that you want and need to be found for. And content is literally anything I can highlight, whether it be images or text. I'm talking mainly about the text though, because that really kind of affects how you're going to be found online. The reason why you want a lot of content is so you can be found for a lot of different keywords. Keywords like garage, Los Angeles flooring, that's not what we're looking for. Garage floors, not necessarily epoxy. Epoxy, yes, if you work with it. But epoxy garage floors, Los Angeles, all of these have their own individual search volumes per month. So, there's a lot of volume to be had. All of that adds up to a total of 1.5 thousand search volume that is related to your area and service that you provide that you're not getting because you don't have a website or anywhere for them to go to. When people search these keywords looking for somebody to do a garage floor or something, they can't find you. You don't come up under their search because you don't have a website with the content and keywords you need to be found for. So I would even go as far as they can't find you. It is really important to put yourself in a position to be found, and having that website with that content and keywords is really great to have. I would even, with that said, you can even save images as those keywords you want to rank for as well. And then you'll start to rank for that keyword. It'll count as content towards your website. It's a really sneaky way to insert a keyword without actually putting it into your text. So, the reason why that content and keywords is so important and crucial for a business online is because, oh goodness, that's not what I wanted, is because when Google crawls your website, they not only see that you have that content, but you also have that keyword verbatim within your content, and it allows you to rank faster and more efficiently because Google feels that the more content you have, the more likely you are to be an expert in your field. And their whole goal is that whoever is searching on their website finds what they're looking for. So if somebody was looking for garage flooring Los Angeles, the people that have more, that they deem to be more of an expert in their field, also known as has more content on their website, they are going to be listed higher for that person. Even if the people with less content on their website actually is more of an expert. And unfortunately, that's just how Google works. They don't actually go through and look at the reviews that some of the customers have to deem whether they're a good company or not. So yeah, the content and keywords is extremely important with that. At the end of the day, the more content you have, the more likely you are to be found, because Google wants to ensure that people searching on their platform gets the information quickly and efficiently. So that concludes my first tip for you, would be to have a website with a lot of content and keywords. My second tip would be to build upon this Google Business Profile. When I put this in, it came up with this. So it's not really like narrowed down to Los Angeles or anything like that, or the area that you're in. But anyways, what I mean by expanding upon the Google Business Profile is when people search for any given keyword, there's a lot of ways in which they can convert over as a client. And we're going to go over to this tab here. I just want you to see what the first thing I'm going to go over looks like. As you can see, it's not here when I search anything for garage floors. I just want you to know what they look like. I know you're not a roofer, but it is the area that you are in. So the local ads, that's what these are. These are great to have for a Google Business Profile. They capture the people who click on the very first thing that they see. They're also Google guaranteed up to a certain dollar amount. So if something happens or goes wrong, the people using these they trust that Google will make it right monetarily. Also, as you can see, I'm hovering my mouse over this, and there's a drop down with the company's phone number there. When somebody clicks on that and they're already taking the time out of their day to call you, they're more likely to convert over as a client. And you can actually have that on your website, as the competitors we were talking about before. They have a click to call button. That is actually very handy. It makes it easier for them to convert people over as clients. So, the next thing I'm going to talk about, that's why these have such a high conversion rate with that. But I'm going to go over to this tab because the rest of what I'm going to talk about is here. So the local ads are at the top. Just under them is the Google ads themselves. They don't have as high of a conversion rate. However, because of their positioning being towards the top, just under the local ads, they put you in a position to be seen by a lot of different people, and they're a lot cheaper than the local ads. The next thing we're going to go over is the Google Map Pack. Basically, with that said, the people who search this way, they want to see a company that is local and in the area. A lot of people search this way can actually pull up to 40% of the traffic. So it's almost guaranteed to these top three here. It is that 40% of traffic is guaranteed to these guys. So I know that these are epoxy flooring. I searched garage flooring Los Angeles. They are ranking for that keyword, outranking you. Epoxy LA does, even though they're epoxy, again, they're an epoxy company, they do garage flooring, so that does make them a competitor. But these guys, are getting that 40%. So if we take a keyword with a search volume of, say, 350, 40% of that is 140, and they're going straight to your competitors here. But the rest of that 60% kind of filters out through the rest of this page on Google. So with that said, that's where ranking organically comes in. The concept for that is pretty simple. The higher your ranking in Google, the more traffic are going to pull to your website. So these people up here are doing way better than the ones down here, and people rarely go to that second page of Google. I mean, how often have you gone to that second page of Google? Let's be honest, I don't even go there. But it's really important that when you have a website that you're ranking high enough to be on that first page, so you get that traffic to your website and get clients that way. So with that said, that brings me to my third and final tip for you. In order to rank organically, you do need to build the strength of your website. And we're going to take a look at your competitors, where they're at in their online presence. You're at a 0 because you don't have a website to show any data for that. But if we take a look at them, this is where they're at in their online presence. You probably don't know what this means, but I'm going to kind of go over it briefly so you kind of understand where they're at. You have backlinks and referring domains. You need to add those in order to your website in order to actually build the strength. Backlinks, unfortunately, are not all created equal. I don't know why it was loaded when I clicked on it last, but so you have good quality backlinks like these ones. Those are great. And then there's also the poor quality ones, which don't do much for you for these guys. So these guys have a lot of zeros here. So not doing anything for them. If this was a site audit for them, I would suggest that they get rid of these zeros and replace them with better quality backlinks. Referring domains, on the other hand, so those, let me go back here first so that I can reset that. There we go. As for referring domains, they can pack a lot of power, some more than others. So if we take a look here, we have high numbers like here in 85. We also have a lot of zeros. The higher the number, the more power it has, and the more trusted by Google it is. So these, they have a lot of zeros that aren't really providing them with much power. You would want to have things more like these that are relevant to your field of work. So that way it allows you to rank better. It's basically a bunch of votes that you get for your website to say this is a good source or whatever. But the more power you have, so you wouldn't want any of these zeros, you would want these. The more power you have with that, the higher these numbers are going to be. And you generally want these to be at a 1-to-1 ratio and as high of a number as possible. These guys, they're at a 34 in UR, which is kind of the general vicinity of where we want to see garage flooring and contractors in general. We want to see them in the 20s, 30s, 40s range. But with DR, they are not at a 1-to-1 ratio with that, and they're not in the range that we want to see them with that. So, they have some work to do. As we can see, they had 2.45 thousand backlinks, 298 referring domains, but as we saw, they had a lot of poor quality backlinks and some not very high power referring domains, so they could be pretty easy to beat out that way. Let's take a look at their organic keywords. So when you get a website with the content containing those keywords, you're going to want to rank for things like, garage flooring, Los Angeles is what you would want. It has the service that you provide and the area that you serve. So you don't want something that is going to be a national keyword. So, for example, this is a national keyword. It has the service, but it doesn't have the, the area that they serve, because say you have someone from San Francisco come through your website, they are irrelevant traffic. They're not going to they might pass through your website because they came in on that keyword, but they're not going to convert over as a client because you're not in their area. They're going to hire somebody who's in their area. So they would count as irrelevant traffic. That's what these national keywords do. They put you in a position to have a lot of irrelevant traffic come into your website. The reason why you want a lot of the service keywords, like, garage. No, I don't know if you do epoxy again, but because it has garage, we would look at that. But with that said, you want a lot of the service keywords and not necessarily just ranking for your name, because when people are searching for this kind of thing, they don't know the name of your company yet. they are looking for the service that you provide. So you want the service keywords to be ranking for. You don't want to just rank for your name. So that's really important to kind of consider when you're building, when the website build comes and, you know, we're putting in the content. You want to rank for those. But anyways, with that said, I hope this has been helpful and informative. Without a website, you're really missing out on all the traffic coming in, because you don't have the contented keywords that you need to be found for. And so with that said, you know, there's a lot of steps in order to like help you beat these guys out. But if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to reach out to me. Either my husband or I would love to get in touch whatever time works best for you. And so with that, you have a wonderful rest of your day, and God bless.